Greetings, comrades. In today's Recon, I'm unboxing a most glorious new game, Fulcrum Leader, designed by Benjamin Chee and Doug Glover, and published by DVG.
Alright, before we get started, I do want to mention this is a review copy provided by DVG. Fulcrum Leader, Soviet Frontal Aviation. So this is a solitaire wargame, part of the very popular Leader series of games. This was co-kickstarted and co-released along with Eagle Leader, and depending on when you're watching this Recon, this unboxing video has just recently been released within the last few weeks, last month or so. By the way, when you're watching my unboxing videos, my Recon videos, make sure you're watching in 4K. That way you can pause at any point, check the bottom right little gear icon, click 4K. Even if you're not watching on a screen that's 4K, you get the highest quality of video. All right, enough of that. Let's get to the unboxing. Wonderful front cover. I really like the look of that. Really evocative of that Cold War style look and feel. Nothing now can stop the victorious march of the motherland. The hymn to Red October. They're showing us some counters out on the tactical board, a target card, an aircraft card there. Fulcrum Leader puts you in command of a Soviet Frontal Aviation regiment in the Cold War 1980s, facing NATO's land, air, and naval forces. Oh man, I feel like I want to open up and start reading Red Storm Rising again. As the polkovnik, your task, and that's colonel, approximately anyway, it's colonel. Your task is to select your pilots and aircraft to carry out missions to destroy the enemy, while balancing the political demands of the party nomenklatura represented by your zampolit. Zampolit would be something like a commissar. Fulcrum Leader includes 10 campaigns from Germany and Poland to Afghanistan and Japan, as well as an introductory Enter the Fulcrum scenario. Look at these aircraft we're getting. The MiG-29 Fulcrum A and C, MiG-21 Fishbed, MiG-23 Flogger, MiG-25 Foxbat, MiG-27 Flogger J, Su-17, Su-24 Fencer, the Flanker, as well as support aircraft, Frogfoot, Brewer, Mainstay, Moss. Warsaw Pact nations represented include Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Poland, and Romania. Fulcrum Leader is a solitaire and cooperative game set in the hotbed of Cold War-era Europe. You are in command and make decisions including selecting and arming aircraft and executing your attacks on your targets, while the built-in game system generates events and controls the opposing forces. 336 full-color cards and 700 full-color counters. Tactical display, 10 campaign sheets, 3 help sheets, and some dice and miscellaneous. All right, enough of that. Yes, I threw up some graphics, I threw up some pictures, but you know what? I think it's time we got to the actual unboxing and recon of what's inside this box. What do you guys think? I think so. All right. Decent box there. Hold all this stuff. There's a lot in here. We're going to be covering this. It's going to be a longer one. All right, here's the Rulebook. It's a long rulebook. I've already been looking at the PDF online. It is, and just hang on everybody, don't overreact now. It's technically 102 pages. I know, wait a second. Trust me, this isn't, if you played a Leader game before, you're going to be very familiar with this. Looks like there's been some changes. I have, read through the rulebook already. There's been some changes, some fixes, some things that are going to fit the Chrome and the time period of when this game takes place, but nothing that, if you've ever played a Leader game, is going to completely blow your mind, right? This is a Leader game absolutely at its core. But nice solid rulebook here. Again, I've already looked through it. Look through it online. You can get it a PDF copy online if you wish. You can go to, I believe Board Game Geek has it for sure, and then DVG probably has it on their website as well. Welcome to Fulcrum Leader. So, also the way they do their rulebooks, lots of pictures. Text is a larger font, spaced far apart. I think that makes the page number kind of go up a little bit, but it does make it a little easier to read, although sometimes harder to reference. The nice thing is, though, at the very beginning, you're getting, at least have a table of contents here with some pages. So if you're saying, hey, how exactly to do the homebound phase again? Okay, go to page 63. But again, full color. And as always, my recons, my unboxings, I'm not teaching you the game. That'll come later when I do my playthroughs and I do my reviews. Or a review. I usually don't do multiple reviews. Tactical display, I'm excited to get that out. Aircraft pilot cards. Again, just explaining everything. Your target cards, right? The stuff you're going to go after out on the board. All right. Lots of good information in here. Check it out. Check out the PDF online. All right. And did notice this as I was rifling through, technically, before I... there's these errata and clarification sheets. So for if you have some other leader games, Phantom Leader, I believe it was. There's Israeli Air Force Leader, and then should be Hornet Leader as well, somewhere in here. Yep, Hornet Leader, Carrier Air Operations. So there are, it's very interesting. There are, is there another one? I think that may be the same one. Yep. So a bunch of errata sheets for you. Nice to include it. Not 100% necessary, but I'm not going to complain. A player log. You'll want to make copies or, always download. Always be able to download this. Find it online for sure. Find it on Board Game Geek. Well, I guess I should look at it, huh? So if you have not played a leader game, if you have, you skip right over this. If you played a leader game, you will see, you put your campaign, whatever campaign you choose, and the game comes with 10. The base game comes with 10. I'm looking at the base game today. Your SO points, Special Operations points, is what you have to spend depending on your campaign and depending on its length, short, medium, or long. You go on you have certain pilots. You'll go on certain missions, certain targets, and you're gaining XPs. You are gaining stress, record your XPs, all that good stuff. And down here, kind of tallying everything up, seeing what your VP was and your campaign notes. And we have our tactical display, nice mounted one. We will hang on to that and cover that in a second. Let's look at the campaign sheets, and then we'll look at the counters and the cards and the display. So again, the game does come with, it would be 10 different campaigns. So enter the Fulcrum. Actually, it's 2 sheets, really guide you through the process. So this is an introductory one. USSR, 1984. Soviet Frontal Aviation must test you and your pilot's abilities to handle the newly fielded MiG-29 aircraft before certifying your unit as combat capable. Again, as always, if you want to see something you're watching 4K, pause it. You should be able to get a good image of it. Again, this is sort of a guide through each of the day's trainings for this intro scenario. Nice to see that. The leader games, I don't think are overly complicated, but it is nice to see something like that. 7 Days to the Rhine, Germany in 1975. Reacting to U.S. conventional strikes on Soviet client states, the Warsaw Pact crosses the border in order to neutralize NATO forces before they can take the offensive. So a little bit farther back than the 80s. I like that. Preempting NATO, Germany of 1984. We must strike before NATO can deploy the new purging missile in significant numbers. Oh, NATO always antagonizing, you know what I mean? Balkan intervention, Balkans 1989. NATO forces have crossed the Bulgarian border, aided by capitalist provocateurs. Chasing Dushman, Afghanistan, 1984. Obviously, Soviets were fighting in Afghanistan throughout the 80s. Sanctuary Pakistan, Durand Line, 1988. Able Archer Asia, Japan, 1983. Able Archer Germany, 1983. Under the guise of Exercise Able Archer 83, NATO conducts a first strike on the Soviet Union. Oh, I couldn't believe those capitalist pigs. Exercise Zapad 81, Poland of 1981. Exercise Zapad or Zapad 81 will cover our internal security operations inside Poland. And Fulda Flashpoint, Germany, 1989. Very nice. I'm glad it includes 10. I mean, that's a lot of scenarios. It's very nice to have that. Oh, and then with a scenario sheet, it's giving you the different numbers of targets. Those are the target numbers on the target cards. You're seeing weapons you get, Special weapons you can purchase. Threat, which would be what would in a normal sheet would be what, say, allied forces there are, right? NATO forces you're going to have to deal with. And it just gives you your mission, your difficulty, what aircraft you have, and then the VPs depending on what you get during the campaign. Fulcrum Leader includes this little airbase squadron control sheet, which I really like. So you can put your aircraft counters out here, regular, shaken, unfit, damaged, and store your extra munitions here. Just add a little flavor, add a little chrome, increase the theme, right? And this one does have some nice help sheets as well that I saw. So here we have sort of a general help sheet, you know, guiding you through kind of what aircraft you pick based on your campaign, what skill levels, aircraft attack sequence, air-to-air, air-to-ground attack modifiers, sight and bandit attack sequence, and bandit movement. I really like that's included on here. Double-sided, SO point cost, remember special operations points, optional rules, combat search and rescue operation, unguided munition weights, how that affects things, resolve tactical nuclear weapon. Yes, tactical nuclear weapon. Oh boy. Pilot and Zampolite skills sheet. So looking at your pilots and your political officer, commissar. And this traits help sheet. So different traits, what they do. Think like keywords, right? And then also, really nice on this, although the game's not, again, overly complicated, the system's not a sequence of play flowchart. Really nice for campaign setup, and then sort of the regular missions, secondary mission, next day, etc. And there's one for sequence of play flowchart, interceptor campaigns. That's an expansion. So for the base game, you would just use this one. It's in the rulebook as well. So you can print out an extra copy. You can't copy that one. We have a whole bunch of counter sheets here. We have the cards. We have some dice. We're going to look at these in a second. All right, let's look at these counters. Again, a time where you may want to pause it. Totally up to you. So first counter sheet, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counter sheets in the base game. That's a lot of counters. So first sheet here is munitions. And again, as always, you can pause it if you feel you need to. So we're primarily looking at R27 and R24s and R27Es. And they are individually die cut, punch right out of the counter sheet, and you can even put it right back in if you really want to. Double-sided, of course. Now let's look at some aircraft. So our Soviet pilots didn't use call signs quite the way NATO and American pilots use. So you have more of Onyx 101, Onyx 109, Obsidian 144, etc. Let's see the different types of aircraft here, and we'll get more in detail as we look at the cards as well. Double-sided, of course, low, high, right? So that's the altitude the actual aircraft is at when it's coming in. Some more munitions. Here we have some bombs. 500-pound bombs, 250-pound bombs. Guided. So FAB, I believe, would be the dumb bombs. CAB will be the guided bombs. And I'm not sure what those are for. Rocket pods. Here we have some longer range munitions, KH-25, KH-29. R-13M, so some more anti-aircraft missiles. Situational awareness markers, helping your pilot take extra actions. Well, now we get into the bandits. So you see with the red, very, very easy to see, very easy to spot. Sights, excuse me, I think I said bandits. So sights and bandits is what I meant to say. So you are, drawing from a cup, generally speaking, based on what year they may be available, or depending if it's all of them. I have not checked the full rules and played the game yet, I should say. Everything from machine guns, infantry with man pads, to anti-aircraft missiles, anti-aircraft guns, etc. Stress markers, damage markers for the target, unfit, destroyed, marking who, CO, Zampolite, the flight leader, etc. And then the markers on the actual campaigns for loyalty, intel, ops, what turn it is, target, and then infra, which I can't remember. Blanking right now. Angle of attack markers. So when you're drawing sights, you're drawing angle of attack marker, placing them in depending on what area they're in on the tactical display. And so you're only going to be able to attack them from certain areas and only be able to shoot into certain areas to simulate terrain, right? Abstract, but have terrain, which I really like. Really, really like, actually. And here we get into some of the NATO, fighters / bombers. Again, more sights. And then we have our abilities or skills. Very nice. Wow. Okay. And then look at these dice. Couple D10s with the 10 being a Fulcrum silhouette. Very cool. Really like that. There are, well, I can't remember what it said. However many, 300? Something like that, cards. So I will open these up and we'll start looking through them here in a second, but that is a lot of cards. Look at that. Jeez. All right, let's go ahead and get the tactical display out. Then I'll open up the cards. Fully mounted, wrapped, very nice. Of course, as always with the leader game. Well, this is a big tactical display. Oh, that's right. I think they made it bigger than the usual tactical display. That was part of the Kickstarter stretch goal, I believe. So, but already basically laying flat, 99% flat. Really like that. Looking at it, initial impressions, very cool look, very nice look. So, starting at the top left, the target deck, so the deck of cards. It's you're in your campaign, you're going to be going after and drawing, and looking and choosing which target. Your event deck, so the events are going to happen as you're coming in over the target, and then as you're leaving. Tactical display itself, so where you have the target card in the middle, your center area, north approach, east approach, south approach, west approach, pre-approach areas, and standoff attack areas, right? So you're coming in the standoff attack area, coming in after target. This is where, right, those sights and such get placed, and you have, remember, the angle, was it angle of attack I said? Whatever it is where, they're abstracting the terrain, right? So that way you're not having to worry about trying to place terrain or figure out terrain. Instead, the actual counters for each of the sites is going to manage that. Turn track here. Bottom, it looks like just some nice theme, nice artwork to get you into it, right? Your Zampolite, your Commissar deck, wonderful, glad to see that. And the sequence of play, of course I am, Comrade. And the sequence of play helpfully included a very large sequence of play, up to all 30s, which includes daily operations phase, pre-flight, so it's not just, target bound, so it's not just what's in here, but actually what you're doing outside of on the tactical display as well. But nice to have it on the board. Look at this tactical display. Very impressive, very impressive. I like it, I like what I'm seeing. Should we open up all these decks of cards? Yeah, I think we should. All right, I have all the various card decks and types of aircraft and cards laid out here. We're not going to look at every single one. We don't have time for that, but we'll look at some of them that really catch our eye. So starting off, looking at just sort of the combat aircraft, I have the MiGs up top here, and I'll zoom in where appropriate, where it makes sense. So starting with the MiG-21 here, the Fishbed, MiG-23 Flogger, Flogger G, MiG-27 Flogger J, MiG-29 Fulcrum A, MiG-29 Fulcrum C, and then here MiG-29 Fulcrum A. These are, you can see the nation, the star for Soviet Union, and then, or, Russian, right? And then East German and other countries that were mentioned on the box that are in the core game here. Down here, the second row, we have more of some strike craft along with a few miscellaneous. So Su-17 Fitter, Su-24 Fencer, Su-27 Flanker, Tu-126 Moss, Yak-28 PP Brewer, and A-50 Mainstay. More of an AWACS, the Russian version of the AWACS, Soviet AWACS. And on the bottom here, we have something that's new. So a few different types of cards that are new, actually. Let's go ahead and look at this Su-25 Strike, or Su-25 Frogfoot. I believe it's Frogfoot. This is a SQA, a Squadron Asset card. So this is a card that you can purchase that instead of a full pilot with a counter on the tactical display, this is just sort of an additional, think of support aircraft that'll help you. And obviously it gives you some text. Ignore dispersed for 1 turn during the overtarget phase. Roll 1d10 once to attack the target. And then so sort of, hey, obviously the Su-25 Frogfoot was it's a very active anti-ground or ground attack aircraft, right? So kind of gives you a possibility of helping out attacking the target itself. And there's a Foxbat, MiG-25 Foxbat, a few different versions with a few different abilities here. Again, those are something that sort of supplements your regular. And there's also ground crew intercept. So basically radars, you have ground crews that are guiding your fighters. There's different events or abilities, things that happen at the bottom. We have our event cards. So of course, on your way to the target, over the target, and then on the way home, you're going to have events that happen, such as immediate air support, depending on, you draw a card. If it's on your way to the target, over the target, or on the way home, you'll draw a different card each time for each of the different events. Things like you're over the target, sights and bandits cannot attack on turn 1, which is really nice. I want that one. Immediate air support. But then if you're leaving, when you draw target cards for the next day, treat any target as having the secondary trait. So all kinds of different events. You get a whole bunch of them here. No need to leaf through them. You'll see them when you pick up the game, right? Or when you see me play it. Your target cards. So these are the targets you are going after. Such as, tank column. Those damn Abrams tanks, we got to take them out. So target number 1, number 2, etc., etc. Number of aircraft up to you can bring on that mission. The name of it, in each of the areas on tactical display, approach and the center, how many sights, how many bandits, and then what hits it takes to defeat the tank column, what victory points you get for defeating it, increases in loyalty, intel, or infra, which is infrastructure. Dispersed, secondary vehicle, those are keywords, right? So it's vehicles, they're dispersed, so it's sort of a wider area, right? It's being considered a column of vehicles, and it's a secondary target. Tank column, mechanized forces, infantry formation, division air support, aircraft dispersal, weapon storage facility, all kinds of air superiority sweep. You're getting ground attack, anti-air, all kinds of things. Again, we're not going to look at all of them. There are 45 different targets, so a lot of cards. And finally, these Zampolite cards. So this is your commissar, right? Resourceful, of course, comrade. I can arrange for those supplies to be placed in the warehouse, but I am certain that there will be questions. Optional, you may increase SO, Special Operations, by 4 points and move loyalty 1 to the left. Interesting. Party Scion, Party Mentor. So just a little extra mechanic, a little extra flavor for the era. Yeah, these cards, I really like how these cards look. Looking at this Sable 506, the Su-27 Flanker, right? You guys have played a leader game, you understand. This will be the name that's going to be on that counter. Type of aircraft, what their skill level is, right? So that's legendary, and then it goes down from there. Veteran, skilled, newbie, green. How much it costs, so the years that it's in action, so 85 to 91. So if you had a campaign that takes place in 75, you cannot pick the Su-27 Flanker. SO cost, or if you gain it back. So for example, if you use the MiG-21 Fishbed here, you actually gain SOs, depending on the length of the campaign, determines how many, because it is an older, less capable aircraft than, say, the Su-27 Flanker. How many weight points it can carry, ECM, situational awareness, yeah, legendary is 2 of them, of course. When his status is okay or shaken, which is based on his stress. What's his speed? Bonus for attack, anti-air attacks, anti-ground attacks, and then what that aircraft can carry, and then doesn't have a cannon or anything else. I really like the artwork and the look of them. All these look really good. I really like the look of these cards. So, all right, this is Fulcrum Leader. You are getting hundreds of cards, hundreds of counters, getting all kinds of wonderful things. And I know there's some changes to the game, some additions. I like the fact they included a flow chart with the game, some help sheets. I like that there's 10 campaigns, even just in the base game. I also think that there's 7 expansions, if I'm correct. So there's a lot of extra stuff if you are looking for it. But otherwise, yeah, Fulcrum Leader, Benjamin Chee, Doug Glover, DVG. Definitely looking forward to covering this one on my channel. Hope you guys are looking forward to it as well. Let me know what you think about this game if you played it. Let me know what you think about the Leader series, and let me know if you're looking forward to it. So, until next time, everybody. Later.